How we doing? How we doing? Welcome back to another amazing episode of the Takeover Podcast, talking everything business, entrepreneurship, money, and especially real estate. This and each and every Wednesday at 12. Russ, welcome to the show. I've got a good friend on for you guys today. So Russ is our regional director of growth over here at eXp Realty in the U.S. And the reason I've got him on the show is because we recently did a mastermind, a private mastermind. And I was like, I got to have you on the podcast because especially with today's market, right? We've had these pandemic babies, right? Where the market was incredible and they didn't have to do a lot. And I saw your tactics and a lot of stuff that I used to use that I'm having to bring back and like take out of my toolbox, right? And so, Russ, welcome to the show. You got started in 2005, right?
Yeah, 2005, man. 2005. I moved to Tampa, Florida for an amazing real estate market in 2005, December 2nd of 2005. And then I got to learn how to build a real estate business, knowing zero people with a market getting completely destroyed. It was awesome.
But you did get to a point where at one point in time you were managing other brokerages, obviously beforehand, but one brokerage you even took it to 28 offices in the US, right?
Yeah. So it was one of those it was one of those starts, then a false start, and then a false start, and then a false start, and then like a couple of moments of sitting in my Infinity G35 back in 07 crying. Like my eyes start sweating, and I'm like, I really screwed this up here because we're stuck here in Florida now. Not the worst place to be stuck, by the way. But with that being said, the whole world had shifted and everybody in the business was going like, oh, shoot, now what do we do?
Yeah.
And the bosses are all going, well, what you need to do is you need to go bang the phones. And I'm like, on what? Like, tell me what to bang it on. I will hit the shit out of it right now. Just tell me what to hit. And, and all of the old stuff wasn't working anymore. So we had to reinvent the wheel 6 times over. And it was a complete shit show. And by the way, we made it happen because we couldn't give up. Failure was not an option for me. If I don't make money, I don't get to eat. I call that my unfair advantage.
Like, I think a lot of people don't understand that if we don't get out there and go and get it on a regular basis, like there's no money coming in. This isn't like,
Well, Daniel, you hear these people now, I stay back, you're like, well, Russ, you don't understand. You're lucky. Like, do you know what I did to get through? Like, I can show you teeth marks. Holy man. Yeah.
So what we're kind of here to talk about today is some of the stuff that we talked about the other day, and I'm going to let you take the reins on this because I know that you got some great bullet points. But, speaking of the marketing that you had to learn, especially in those hard times back then, now we're getting to a point where a lot of agents are looking at it going, I don't know anything. I don't know what I'm doing anymore, and I don't know what to do next. So what are some of the things that you think need to come back when it comes to this in-depth marketing tactics, right? And I know that you have like a lot because especially with like the Rolodex of vendors, that's one of my favorite things that you brought up last time because that's what I built my business on, right? Adding value to other people's lives and having those landscapers, those pool people, those people that install swings in people's houses. That got me so good during the mastermind. I tell you, Russ, that was perfect. I was like, this is epic, right? But that's the stuff that we're talking about. So I'm gonna let you take the reins from here and tell us what you got and what people should be and shouldn't be doing when it comes to these tactics and marketing right now.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, there's like 8 million different directions you can go with this, right? Have you ever heard of a plan that's so complicated it's got to work?
Yeah.
No, you haven't. No, never, right?
No,
here's a plan
absolutely
so simple it's got to work, right? So a lot of people are like, well, what I need to add, Russ, and I need to add Russ, and I need to add Russ, and I need to add Russ is it's almost a complete opposite, right? So from a coaching standpoint, I have to do a ton of coaching businesses and people and all the other stuff. I said, like, okay, what's working for you now? And the answer most of the time, Daniel, is they have no idea.
Yeah.
Right. So literally sit down and ask yourself the question, what's working for me now? Like, where did my past sales come from? And what you'll start to do is you'll start to find a trend that is your trend. See, Daniel, we've got so many people out there. It's like, well, what you need to do is you got to do it like this. And I'm like, no. What you need to do is you need to see a little bit of everything and then build your own recipe from that, right?
Yes.
I'm going to recreate the chicken McNugget identical to the chicken McNugget. No, McDonald's already has that, right? Get your own chicken flavored crunchy thing. Okay. So with that said, it's literally the marketing aspect of being a real estate agent is having a flavor, right? I mean, so look at this, right? This is my flavor. I accidentally started doing this because I didn't like wearing suit coats because I looked too stuffy. I started wearing a vest. I was like 34. They put me in charge of a real estate office. I looked like a child, right? I just turned 50. So you can imagine I didn't look 34 when I was 34 either. I looked like I was 24.
Yeah.
So with that said, I was like, all right, I'm just going to overdress a little bit. I will wear a shirt and a tie. I'll wear a vest. I'm not wearing a jacket. I'm not going to be that suited up dude. But so I've always kind of had this shirt and tie thing with and jeans, right? That was always my crazy shoes. That's my thing, right? So that's part of the brand. So when you're starting to say marketing, right? We were at the Build event in Dallas. I was at the Build event in Dallas. And this guy, you might have heard of him before. His name's Tony Robbins.
Yeah. Just a small little guy, right?
He's standing up there and he says, guys, listen, you got to be known for something. You got to have something. There's got to be some feel when people are like, I know that guy, right? And I was like, damn it, because now I'm stuck with this, right? Because I was just getting ready to go t-shirt guy. I'm going to be t-shirt and a flat brim hat dude.
Yeah.
Because that looks way more comfortable than how I roll. But really, literally when I walk through a building, this is what people notice. This is what people see. They spot this and they're like, that's that guy, right? And you rarely see me outside of this. It's funny. People have joked with me. It's like, well, do you sleep in that? I'm like, no, I don't sleep in this. I have a pajama vest, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I have a pajama with a tie on it. So listen, let's keep it.
Yeah. So yeah, casual day for me. So with that said, I mean, that's part of that marketing tactic thing is have a flavor, be known for something. I know a guy like literally every Tuesday, it's all about tacos. And I know, right? But Rudy Sedano, he's Taco Tuesday guy, right? And then every other day is some other taco nonsense. So you got to find that thing and that flavor. And then the second thing is, Daniel, there is one thing that happens to us all the time in the real estate business. And I started to notice this, and then I started to ask other people. And then I stood on stage in Miami at one point. And I was like, hey guys, is it just me or does this happen all the time to you too? And here was the question. Okay. I said, I meet somebody, we're out and about doing whatever, I'm mountain biking, goofing off, whatever, start talking to somebody, we're catching our breath, sipping some water. And they're like, hey Russ, well, what do you do for a living? I say, I'm a real estate guy. Right. The next thing out of their pie hole almost always is some variation of how's the market?
Yeah, every single time.
All the time, right? It's like you walk into a store and they're like, can I help you? You're nope, just looking. It's that knee jerk. They just ask it, right? So I'm like, well, geez, I'm not the smartest guy I know, but if that comes up all the time, I should get really freaking great at answering that question, right? So I started answering the question and people just kind of glaze over, right? And you'll hear a bunch of the teachers, trainers, and coaches in marketing be like, well, what you got to do is you got to have a great elevator speech. You got to get that pitch in real quick. I got to pitch. You got 30 seconds to pitch and you got 10 seconds to make a good impression. I'm going, well, no, you got first 3 or 4 seconds. As soon as you go into sale mode, you just alienated everybody that asked that question.
Yeah.
Right. So what you're doing is say, I want to alienate you in the most spectacular way possible. Yeah. Your answer.
Yep.
Like, all right, well, look at me. I'm a realtor. My job is to help sellers get top dollar for their house and help buyers get a great deal. And I'm really wonderful at communication. Like you're an idiot, right? I mean, guys, stop teaching this shit because this is not actually productive because real estate agents have a horrible reputation in the sales world. Yep. Only bested by used car salesmen. Yay. Right.
Yep.
So last yeah, I mean, hey, we kicked their ass, right? Yeah. We are number 2 from the bottom, not number 1 on the bottom. Okay.
Yeah.
So we can't even win that. So with that said, the shift then becomes, Daniel, it's going into, okay, so they asked me for a real estate market update. Number 1, how do I answer this question so that I don't alienate them? Number 2, how do I turn this into conversion? Because it happens a lot. Yeah. Right? So if I said, hey, Daniel, here's the deal, man. On Friday, sometime during the day, there's going to be a question that's asked, and the answer is D. And if you answer D when they ask that question, you get a check for $12,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so on Friday, they go, you hear the question, I go, D. You're like, I don't even care what the question is. Just answer D. You get $12,000, right? And this is the exact same thing, right? I know this question is coming. Should I be prepared for it? And the answer is yes. Unfortunately, the industry has done a horrible job of turning it into a complete mess where you just basically go into sales pitch mode and you alienate them and shut them off and cut them off. So here's shift number 1, marketing number 1. You are the brand, right? Yes. When you tell people and people find out you are a real estate agent, you are the brand. And then the way you behave and comport yourself while you do this conversation completely shifts the way people see you and treat you and whether they want to do business with you ever again or not. So here's a slight shift. Ready for this? Okay. Somebody says, hey, Russ, how's the market? I look at them and I go, Daniel, you know what? People ask me that question all the time. Great news is I do a real estate market update every month that tells people what's going on in the market. Would you like me to send it to you? And they say to me every time, yep. So
absolutely.
Daniel, so here's a common complaint when I've been coaching, teaching, training people in the past. People say, well, Russ, you don't understand. It's really hard to get their information. Like, really? All you do is that, and they give you all their information. I go, here's the deal. I pick up my phone. I go, all right, so I promised I'd be better at this. Promised I'd be better this year, right? I don't know what your contacts look like in your phone, but holy smokes. Little plus sign. Let's make sure I promised I would get everything, right? And then they never say to me, well, why do you want my home address? They don't ever ask me that, right? Because I'm offering to give them something that they want. So let's talk about marketing 101. Guy comes up to the window and says, hey, Daniel, I'd like a hamburger. And you say to him, here's a hamburger for you at an acceptable price. Would you like that? And they go, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so why is this? Why are we a failure in the real estate industry with this? Like, this is like people talk about all these beautiful and amazing tactics. Listen, if you could just start to learn how to convert a basic interaction with a normal human being in the normal course of doing business, you're going to be in a position where you can build a lifestyle type of business. So then I start going, well, wait a minute. Do I want to golf more? Yeah. Well, how do I convert? Now I'm starting to build my sphere. I'm building my database, right? What is marketing for? To make connections, make sure people know who we are, what we are, where we are, how we are, when we are, right? And then number 3, make sure you're able to convert it into cash, right? If what you're doing isn't converting to cash, it sucks, right? It doesn't matter how great a chef you are if the recipe sucks.
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay, give him a sucky recipe. He's like, Russ, this is going to be horrible. Just follow the recipe. And he's like, this is going to be, he already knows looking at the ingredients. When you put a pound of salt with a chicken, game over, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no. So we got to start saying, okay, well, is this recipe reasonable that makes sense? And can I do this on a regular basis? And I build this into my lifestyle. So it's something that I don't feel unusual and uncomfortable with. I don't want to try to sell anybody anything. Here's the thing, Daniel, like real estate agents all the time. They're like, I just don't want people to feel like I'm selling them something. Like, freaking newsflash, you're in freaking sales.
Yeah.
Now, there's two different ways to do it. There's acceptable ways to do it, and there's unacceptable ways to do it. Mm-hmm. If you have something people want and you're connecting to them to that, are you doing them a favor?
No.
Or are you selling them something? No. If a guy walks up and he's like, hey, man, can I have a hamburger? And you're like, I have a whole restaurant here. And yeah, I make hamburgers. Cool. And I give it to him. Is that a sales pitch? No, it's like you just got to find those methods to start saying, okay, so instead of me going and chasing people down, putting them in a headlock and punching them in the face until they say, fine, I'll just buy anything, just get off me. We got to start saying, look at marketing and marketing tactics as, am I putting up a flag? And my flag says, let's say today, my flag says ice cream, right? Vanilla ice cream flag. I put up my vanilla ice cream flag. I set up my little vanilla ice cream stand, put the sign up in front, and then I send it out and they go, hey guys, vanilla ice cream stand right over here. And the people that stand in line, guess what they want?
Vanilla ice cream.
Most likely, right?
Yeah.
Most likely. Now, here's the great part about being a really great salesperson. I get enough people in that line and somebody walks up and they're like, well, do you have chocolate, Russ? And I'm like, did you? Okay. So people go, well, Russ, how do I know when it's the right time to dump a customer? When you get a chocolate customer in a vanilla line and he's standing in the vanilla line for half an hour waiting in line, and then he asks you for chocolate when there's chocolate right over there. Like, all right, this person's probably an idiot. Maybe I don't want to do business with them. So they self-select themselves. But what I want you to do is, well, I would like a steak. I'm like, this is McDonald's. We don't have a mixed steak, right?
Yeah.
You go to a steakhouse for a steak, you go to McDonald's for a hamburger and fries, right? So it's a matter of making sure you're putting up the right flag so we show who we are, right? And I don't want to put up a false flag saying I am something I'm not, right? So what are we? Just get really clear on that. Everybody is unique in their own way, and we've got to start showing that flavor so we get people to come to us, right? So number one thing is I should have a real estate market update going every single month so I have the ability to have something people want. They're asking for hamburgers. Do you think our place should be making hamburgers if the sign outside says hamburger stand?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So we got a bunch of people with real estate with their real estate sign out front. And they don't even know what's going on in the real estate business. So should we probably have that as our hamburger? Yeah. So know what's going on in the real estate business. And then this shifts things because people meet you and they talk to you and they want to engage with you, but they only want to engage with you if they think you're a professional. They think you're an expert. Like people go, well, Russ, well, I want to be paid like an expert. I'm like, well, you should probably start to sound like one then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Start to walk like it, talk like it, right? So knowing what's going on in the real estate market is great. Don't go on a lecture with it. Preview, say, hey, would you like that? And they say, yeah, great. And by the way, make sure you check this out real quick because I don't know if you heard, but we are at a 1.7 month supply of homes. It's gone up a whole bunch from a 1.5, which means I'm being a smart aleck here, but it hasn't gone up at all in this market. So when you're hearing these things about what's going on in the market, it is not applying to where we are right now. So make sure you look at it because the other info out there does not match what the facts are. So I'll send it over to you tomorrow. Sound good? And then tomorrow I send it to them. Now, two things happen. Number one, I got their info. Number two, I got something they want. Number three, they completely forget about me tomorrow.
Yeah.
And when I send it to them, it says, hey, I'm sending you the market update like I said I would. Now I've delivered value to them. And I've also built credibility because I did what I said I was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see? It's like you start looking at marketing and going, okay, well, marketing is just throwing something out there. Well, it's throwing something out there and getting something back, ideally, right? So it's like playing handball or playing racquetball. You whack it to the wall and it's supposed to come back to you, right? If you whack it and it disappears, like, well, don't do that again. You're going to run out of balls real quick. Like, how many racquetballs do you bring when you play? Like a boof, gone, boof, gone. And real estate agents feel like, man, I'm going through racquetballs. I'm like, yeah, well, you should have a return.
Yeah.
You should have a return and you should measure it. Like when I hit it there, it comes back. When I hit it there, it does not, right? So we've got to start measuring what we're doing and what's working, what's not working for us. And everybody's got their own flavor, right? So we kind of have to sort that out. So that's number one. Have a really good real estate market update and find a way to get it into people's hands. Everybody, every single month, right? So you got 2, 3, 4 different ways you can do it. Do it by social, do it by email. And then, by the way, here, let's get dirty with it. Ready for this? Lick it and stick it and send it in the mail to them because 100% of those people get it, or 99.9, rain, sleet, snow, shine, or whatever the hook those people are. It's showing up slower than it used to, but it still shows up almost all the time. So you got to put something in the mail. People are like, well, Russ, but I want something sexier. I want something more complicated. Like, how about if you can't do that well? I'm not really sure I'm going to entrust you to something else. Like if you can't sweep the floor good, I'm not sure going to put you in charge of steaks. Yeah, because the little guy who can't sweep the floor well is probably going to screw up a bunch of steaks, right? So, like, what we get you good at that. So, what I want you to start thinking is, regardless of where I'm at in marketing right now, regardless of where I'm at in the business right now, it's like let's get really great at what our role is, and then somebody's going to go, hey, you know what? Maybe we should give that guy a power washer because he's that good with a broom. Look at the way he sweeps it. It's the cleanest freaking floor I've ever seen. They'll put you in charge of other stuff. Let's be clear, guys. I'm not the smartest guy you know. I'm in this job because I take every role I get and I go all in, right? And I find the simple stuff and do it really, really well. And people start to notice that. And it starts to take on a life of its own. So there's one. Boom. What else do you want?
I'm telling you, you know what's funny is the simplicity of it is I've taken multiple things from this, right? Because even Carlos German said it the other day. He says, you need to be careful with the clients that you take on, right? Because he said it. He said it in, I think it was like a TikTok or Instagram video. And he had mentioned, he's like, first thing you need to look for is coachability, right? Because if we are the professionals and we're keeping it simple and we're watching the market on a regular basis and still somebody doesn't want to go into that, it might not be a good fit, right? And there are agents that are willing to take that on, but we need to understand where our limitations go. So I think one of the bigger things too is that agents need to understand our limitations, right? I think you said it perfectly when it came to keeping it simple and almost like staying in your lane, right? You need to be dedicated to your craft. Now, I operate differently, right? But it's also because I'm not personally taking on every agent, right? I put it out there that I'm the real estate guy and that I do everything. But in reality, I'm only doing 1 or 2 things, right? But when they come to me and they're like, I've got my vanilla ice cream flag up for the day and they're coming to me for chocolate, I'm like, you know what? I don't have chocolate because the sign says vanilla, but I've got somebody that has chocolate right down the street, right? And so that's I think the magic power behind a lot of it, because especially nowadays, I've actually been referring to it almost like going to college and figuring out what your major really is going to be or what you're going to do in life. And I've been coaching our agents and our mentees in that manner, stating like, listen, I want you to try everything, right? But I want you to try it by researching it, not by actually practicing it. Because I want you to figure out what you want to do. Because a lot of people that come in and say they want to do luxury end up doing commercial. And a lot of people that say they want to do commercial end up doing residential. And it's just
Yes.
one of those things that they need to stick with it.
So here's a point that goes along with that. What we end up
Yeah.
having in a situation, a lot of real estate across the board, a lot of people are where they are because they work out of desperation. They work out of a position of lack, right?
Yes.
So the key is, like, if you get some of these base core things set up and start thinking like market update, start thinking lifestyle, start thinking the contractor list like we talked about, start thinking like in social, what can I do on a weekly basis, a regular multi-times on a weekly basis that actually make people think about me, right?
Yeah.
So without being that guy. So John Cheplack at the convention 2 weeks ago, John Cheplack standing on stage, and you know how he is. He's like, man, you guys, what you need to do is you need to start looking, like, take the facts, man. And he's just slamming it down. And he goes, so let me give you the Russ Laggan version of what he said. And he goes, so we did a study. We ran the numbers, ran the math, and said, hey, we want to grow this company. And what we did is we reviewed who our customers were, right? And then we found out that 63% of our customers have dogs. So what we had the marketing crew do is said, we started incorporating dogs into almost everything we did in marketing. And I was like, oh, I know where this is going, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? He said, in the next 12 months, that company revenue went up how much? 100%. It doubled in 1 year? No, it didn't. Did it double plus in 1 year? Yes, it did. Fivefold, 500% increase in business in the next year, because they finally figured out how to connect to the people they were connected to. For some reason or another, 63% is a fairly high number of people that have dogs, right? So that's not a normal cross-section. It's a good, solid cross-section. So we've got to start saying, did they find their flavor? Yeah. They found the ice cream people that are looking for vanilla ice cream. There's a couple people within the vanilla world. There's vanilla ice cream people who are like, I just want to put the plain vanilla in my face, and that's it. And, let's get fancy with it. I got vanilla bean. Ooh. Right? That's fancy vanilla to a vanilla person. But there's other people that are vanilla people that are like, vanilla is a carrier for all the things that are amazing in life. Hot fudge, hot caramel, sprinkles, whipped cream, whatever, right? So it is a carrier. It's just like the nonpartisan carrier. It'll carry anything, right? You can do chocolate chips on it. You can put Oreos crushed up on it. You can smash cookie dough into it. There's a bunch of stuff you can do with it. So you got those two camps. So like, which one are you? But man, I'll tell you, if you put up the flag of plain vanilla, you're going to find that you get a lot of those people, right? And it's okay if you alienate people. So we're trying to be everything to everybody. It's like, no, the chocolate people are not my people, right? I'm the vanilla dude.
Yeah.
So you got to think of that in a marketing plan, and you can't just try to be everything to everybody because you're desperate. You got to get really clear on who you are, and then make sure you throw that flag up. So like in the social side, like I like food, right? So I'd be the perfect person if I was chasing that business. Every week, twice a week, I'm going to find some obscure, off the beaten path, not normal, definitely not mainstream, certainly not a franchise place where I'm going to have dinner or I'm going to have lunch, and then I'm going to do a quick video. Hey, I'm Russ the Realtor. Check out this place. It's called Yellow Dog. This restaurant, by the way, outside of Orlando. It is funny, cool, funky place. Looks like the building was eaten by termites for the last 100 years, and it probably was.
Sure has.
The menu is phenomenal. The menu is interesting. If you read the menu, it's actually funny. It's a good price. They've got cold beer. And if you get there early enough, you can actually have dinner in the back in a VW Bug with 7 of your favorite friends. So with that said, if you guys haven't checked out Yellow Dog, check out Yellow Dog. I'm Russ the Realtor. See ya. I'm out. Boom. You know what Yellow Dog is, don't you?
I do. I do know exactly where it is, and I know exactly where the VW Volkswagen is. Yeah, I know exactly where it is.
So think about it like this. So like it's Russ the foodie that's out and hits these words. But like most people wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to do a review. Yeah. But that's something people now, if they're like in Orlando, they're like, where is this? What is this? How is it? Where is this place? Like, I want to see that, right? I'm around this area. I'm going to definitely double check that and find that, right? So there's a million different ways you can do that from a marketing perspective. It's not costly at all. Small investment of time, and you're already doing stuff you love anyway. Right. And that's where we get into that sweet spot where you become the highest and best you, because you're doing things you love. You're promoting other people. If I promote other people, do you think that could win for me? Absolutely. And how much dollars have I spent so far? Real estate market update, social media platform, building a contractor list, right? By the way, contractors live in houses. If you guys haven't heard Daniel talk about this, contractors live in houses. We sell houses. None of the houses we sell are perfect. So should we have a list of people to help solve problems for people? Yeah. Yes. So people start going, this is my solution guy for anything that goes wrong with a house. Are they more likely to use me when it's time to sell a house? Yes. So how much dollars do I have now? None. Still zero. Right? I could do all of that by social. I could do all of that by living life. I could do all of that by doing the stuff that I love. Right? I sat down and said, where did my business come from? 4 of my deals in 12 months were from mountain bikers.
Yeah.
And I'm going, well, gee, should I do that more? Yeah. Well, if I do that twice as much, will I get more people, twice as many people? No, actually I did it twice as much and I got 4 times the amount of people.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was there and I was present and I was consistent. So marketing is about consistency. Mm-hmm. Being a brand is consistent. That's why we were goofing around earlier because it's Halloween week, and this is coming out the week after we're doing Halloween week. And you're like, I showed up in I roll in on a cowboy hat and I'm like, hey, what's up? And I got my t-shirt on with a iron tie, right? It's a joke on the vest and tie guy, right? So
because it's your brand. And that's the simplicity of it. You got to keep it simple. A lot of people don't realize it's about the basics. And I try to bring that up as often as possible, right? Because you're right. Everyone tries to be the expert in fields that they don't necessarily need to dive into. And, I think GoGo said it best when they asked her about her VAs.
Yes.
When they asked her, how do you know the task to give your VAs, right? And what she did was she said, I lived a normal week for 2 weeks. Right.
Yep.
And every day, if there was something that I enjoyed doing, I kept it. If I didn't enjoy doing it, I went to my VAs.
Yes. Well, so we can divide your whole business, right? So from your marketing standpoint, it's like, what do I like to do?
Yep.
What am I good at? Okay. And then the last list is do. So we can literally set this down. 1, 2, 3. So here's your whole thing, right? Let's break this out. What do I like to do? Make a list. What am I good at? Make a list. And anything that hits both of those lists goes over here. Do that.
Love it.
Right? So and they're like, well, what about the things you don't like to do? Well, it didn't make this list or this list, so I'm not doing that either, right? So if it doesn't hit this list or this list, if I like it and I'm good at it, I'm going to do that, right? If I like it and I'm not good at it, do I want to get good at it? You could potentially and do that, right? So for me, I build electric bass guitars and I forge knives and all kinds of other oddball hobbies, right? I got a bunch of them. Okay.
Yeah.
Do I like to do that? Yeah. Am I good at that? Yeah. Should I do that? No, because it doesn't make me any money.
Correct.
I don't want to do this.
Be a call to action. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I can get $3,000 for a bass, but it's still I can't build 100 of them a year. Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense to me. So when you're starting to look at this, you start to go, okay, well, I should be doing more of that. How do I do more of that? It's amazing the things in our life that we do because we're supposed to do it. Have you ever heard the story? This is a great story. Okay. And I'll let you go with this. I'll let you stop me. Okay. Story goes like this. True story too, by the way. Daughter looks up at her mom and she's watching her get ready for Christmas dinner. Looks up at her mom and says, "Mom, why do you cut the ends off the ham?" And she looked at her and she's like, "I don't know. That's what my mom always did." Well, let's get grandma on the phone. So you pick up the phone. It's like, "Hey, mom, granddaughter's here. She just asked me why we cut the ends off the ham." And she goes, "That's a great question. I don't know. That's what my mom always did." So let's get great grandma on the phone. Great grandma's like 96. And she's like, "Hey, great grandma. Okay. Everybody on the phone. Yeah, great. So we're great granddaughter was asking why you cut the ends off the ham. And when you do it." And she goes, "Because I didn't have a pan that was big enough."
Yeah.
No, seriously, right? And you stand back and it's going, why are we doing this? Why are we still telling people to call FSBOs? Why are we still calling people? Hey, listen, if you like doing that, do it. But I'm simply saying there's 100 other ways to build a life and a business that are not the things that you hate. Do the things you like. Do the things you're good at. Do the things you like. And if you're not good at it, get better at it. Okay, so then you don't have to do the things you don't like. I will do certain things so I don't have to do other things. Mm-hmm. Right? So I'm not a fan of tracking everything I do, but I will track everything I do to make sure I know I'm working on the right stuff and working on things with the best results, to know that I can continue to do more of that. And then I can push the other stuff off onto somebody else.
Yep.
GoGo's brilliant at that.
Well, it's living with intent, right? It's living with intent within your own boundaries, right? I mean, times are changing, the planet's changing, and a lot of people don't understand that they have a choice now, right? You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just get to pick your path. It's very simple. And a lot of people don't realize that along the way. I do something similar with what you were saying. We used to do this show called Around the Town, and we used to go and interview places. And it took a lot of time, and we were good at it, and we liked it, but it was time consuming. So now what I do is I just do it on Google, and I've actually picked up business from just doing what I normally do and going out and eating food and then reviewing the places that I love. Any place I don't like, I just don't leave a review. Now, if there's roaches crawling around, I'm going to leave the review of don't go there, right? But at the same token, I've become I've landed in top 10% of Google reviewers for restaurants, and I do it from my business account, from Daniel Rojas, the realtor, right? And so now I have over 300, 400,000 views on my profile because people are seeing me leave these reviews. And it's within my realm of what I like to do. And now people are calling me, be like, hey, ironically, we went to this restaurant, saw your review, looked you up because it was such a good review. And we're looking for an investment, or we're looking for this, we're looking for that. So it's living within your means, but the way you want to do it. So I'm a fan.
So what would we call that? We have a conscious engineering or intentional engineering of a lifestyle I love, right? Intentional engineering of that is, what do I like? What am I good at? Right? Like, this is intentionally engineering a lifestyle, right? I was like, what do I like to do? Well, I like to do that a lot. Well, I'm not good at it yet. Well, get good at that so you can do that more often and just like tick that on your list, right? You're like, I don't like to do that, so I want to get good at it. Like, I don't like cold calling people. Then don't get good at that.
Yeah, do something
Why
else.
would you? Like, no. Like, there's 100 other ways to do this, guys. So it's a matter of finding. So I think probably one of my superpowers is always making sure I'm helping people find the best recipe for them. Like, I don't eat fish, right? I will only eat things that had feet, or without being human. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything with feet that wasn't human, I will probably eat it, right? But I won't even eat a cow I won't even eat a cow that swam a lot, right? Because I don't eat fish, water, anything, right? Anything that looks like a bug that they pulled out of the water, I'm not eating it. Okay. Yeah. With that said, can I eat it? Yeah. Will I? No. Like, there's 100 other things to eat. So you got to find the right recipe for you. So you're never going to see me selling fish recipes. It's not happening. Can I cook fish? Yes. Can I do a wonderful cedar plank salmon? You're damn right I can, because my wife loves salmon. I will cook it and I'll stand there like this, right? Mm-hmm. So you just got to, again, find your recipe and then do the things you need to do and intentionally engineer an amazing life. And then stand back and go, wow, my life is pretty amazing. Well, duh. I got a good recipe. Let's rock and roll with it. So that's marketing shift, mindset shift, probably more than anything else.
Well, I'll tell you that goes hand in hand. A lot of people don't understand that, because a lot of people look at the mindset stuff, and this is different though. This is about understanding how to make your foundation, how to create your foundation for your marketing, what you need to target, and how you need to go about it, right? And being firm in those beliefs. I think that a lot of the industry is wishy-washy, and I think that we're going to find out all those wishy-washy agents and brokers in the next 6 to 12 months as things change. And I think that now is the time for people to stand firm. So
yeah, you got to get really clear. Right now is the best time to get clarity, right? So typically we see a slowdown in almost all businesses in September and October, right? So like, we're just ending that. We're going to get busier in November, and then December is the 4th highest closing month of the year typically. Okay. And then we go to what happens in January, February. Everybody's oh my God, the sky is falling. I'm like, no, this is a great time for you to actually take the time to reinvest in your business and rebuild the new platforms. Do a couple of things you get better at, so then you can do the things you like, right? So this is a perfect time of year. It's like, pull everything back. What's working? What's not working? What do I like to do? What am I good at? And then let's do a lot more of that next year. Next year, you're going to have a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Right. So the marketing is about being able to get people to find the right people, to find the people that are attracted to your tribe. Find your best people, right? Some people love it, right? It's funny enough because people are like, why do you call that dressed up? Because every server everywhere wears a vest, seems like, right? In the nice places. Yeah. I'm like, what do you think I am as a leader? I am a servant, right? So my job is to help you guys be stronger. And that's how I roll. But that just goes all the way through the core of who I am. So
I love it. Listen, this is why I love these sessions, because it gives so much to everybody, and it gives a clear understanding in a compact amount of time. I always like to end this with questions, so I got a good one for you, and I normally do 2, but we've knocked out so much because I feel like we've added value, and so some of the questions that I was going to ask we've already answered. But let me ask you this, because I think that you have a solid answer, knowing that you're an event guy, you're a Tony Robbins guy. So if I were an agent, I don't care if I'm a new agent, an experienced agent, right in the middle agent, what would be an upcoming event that you would recommend I attend as that agent?
You know what? I mean, this is man. I could answer it about 500 different directions, right? So here's the thing. I wouldn't plan one event, right? I would plan on showing up on a regular basis. So here's the thing, and this is going to sound super stupid, self-serving, but I'm saying it anyway. Every single Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in EXP World, and we also broadcast live on YouTube. I do a session called Friday Fire. We do week 1 is on mindset, week 2 is on attraction, week 3 is on production, week 4 is on systems. And if we have a 5th Friday in the month, I interview one of the leaders about leadership. Okay. So what is it? It would be saying, set aside that 30 minutes from 11 to 11:30, 11:35 or so every single week. So you get small pieces, parts, and chunks. And I'm interviewing people like you're doing with me and pulling out of them the parts and pieces and recipes to have simple things that you can move forward with. And if you do something on a consistent basis, becomes part of your routine. It's like my Fridays are off limits, man. Fridays, 11 o'clock, man, I'm rock and rolling. I'm here because I know I will always get one nugget. Listen, a 4-day week of intensive is a bitch to actually assimilate in your life, but you'll pull 1 or 2 or 3 little recipes every week. And then you got a week to play with them. And then you can add a little. Amazing shifts are built 1% shifts at a time, not a 20% shift. People won't do that, right? Take that one step, take that one step, take that one step, take that one step. The next thing you know, you look back and you're like, holy crap, I'm not in Michigan anymore. Yeah. Because that's the way it works, right? But it's that one step. So for me, I'm pulling this stuff out of amazing people in our ecosystem to be able to make sure you guys have steps on the 4 main components of business. Yep. So there you go, self-serving answer, but I think it's valuable.
I'll tell you, what's funny is, this podcast is out there for everybody, right? At any brokerage. But it's funny because I've been more intentful. So I'm going to be more intentful right now on this one. My call to action is this. If you're at EXP already, make sure that you jump into that. If you are not at EXP, reach out to me. I'll get you a guest pass. We'll get you in there. And like Russ said, we've got this live on YouTube anyways. So if you're not with EXP, this is also for you. I don't want you to feel ostracized, but we are intentful with how we build our culture, our family, our entire tribe, right? So if you're interested in that, because I love what Russ said. So if you are not at EXP, hit me up, reach out to me. I will get you a guest pass so we can get you in that class, because that series is impactful. I will tell you, if you took something from today, you should be there every single Friday. And I appreciate that. Russ, we are over time. And as always, it's actually, I love it because this is the reason we go over time, right? And the reason I say that we have a shorter amount of time is because if it runs over, it's good, right? It's good.
Yeah. If it's bad, it should.
That's it. No, but it's great. And it's one of those things that I sit here and it's like, okay, well, we could go on for an hour and a half realistically, but
no. Let's be clear. We could do this for a week straight.
Yeah.
There's a million things. I mean, there's a million things that make us who we are and what we are. And just a small nugget of it is the real estate part. That's just the thing to generate cash to be able to live an amazing life, right? Yeah. Like, I don't care what brand you're with. Every single person wants to live an amazing life. So like, tap into that nugget stuff that we're doing on Fridays. I don't care what brand you're with. Like, you won't even ever hear me try to push anything on you. Like, I've got my flag up. If you want to come and get it, come and get it.
Yeah. Right? I'll see you when you get in line. Right. Yeah. No, that's wonderful. Well, folks, thanks for tuning in on another episode of the Takeover Podcast each and every Wednesday. I don't know who we have coming in next week because it's not in front of me right now, but I'm thankful for you guys being here each and every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thank you, Russ, for being here. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Take care.
Happy Wednesday.